Welcome back, everybody. We are recording live today from San Francisco, from the Bay Area, because we have a very special guest in the building coming all the way from Australia. You guys might know him most recently as the producer for Raf-Saperra's hit song Patola that released last year, but obviously he's been in the game for a long, long time. We're very excited to have him. DJ Jesta in the building, ladies and gentlemen. Very special guest.
Thanks for having me, boys.
Yeah,
it's an absolute pleasure. And, hi to all of you viewers of the podcast. Been watching your podcast, some of your episodes. You guys are doing a sick job. Keep at it.
Appreciate
and keep
it.
repping the culture, man.
Thanks,
you guys
man.
are killing it. So,
Yeah,
thanks for having me.
yeah, of course. How's your trip been? You mentioned this is your first time in America, right?
Yeah, first time over here in the States. Obviously, heard a lot about America and see. So my perception of America is based on Hollywood movies and whatnot.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's interesting coming over here and actually seeing these cities. Well, California, and then met up with a bunch of friends that I've known for years and years, but never had the pleasure to meet face to face. So. Yeah, it's been a good trip. Been here for about 5 days. Traveled all over. I mean, went to Sacramento, Fresno, and then obviously here in San Francisco. So it's been fun, man. Enjoyed it thoroughly. Weather's been good as well. So weather.
Yeah, no. I mean that's so funny. When people say they've only seen Cali through Hollywood.
Yeah,
I was like, when you come to Yuba City, you're like, I don't know about Hollywood anymore.
It's very different. Yeah. That's the thing about California. It's very diverse. There's the whole state. You can get anything. You can get.
And the food is wow. I've been in food heaven for the last couple of days, man.
How was did seafood taste here anything different?
You know what? I'm not gonna lie, I didn't have any of their seafood while I've been over here. I've tried everything because everyone back home has been like, "Oh, you gotta try, you gotta try the Mexican food, you gotta try In and Out and all these different places." So I was like, "There's seafood like that, I can have it."
Mexican food though.
Mexican food is so good. My cousins live in Fresno, just out of Fresno in Sanger, and they were saying the closer you go to Mexico, head towards the border, the more authentic the food is.
Definitely.
But yeah, man, we got some Mexico on the Super Bowl day, and it was bloody good. It was so good. It was really, really good. Some of the best. I'll say it was the best Mexican I've had in my life.
That's great.
I wouldn't doubt it. Especially out in Australia.
Yeah, we get Mexican food and stuff, but it's very the commercial stuff.
Oh, okay.
Like Taco Bell's been there for a couple of years now, so. That's as authentic we'll probably get. There are some pockets, but overall, this is it's been great. The food here has been so good.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, that's awesome, man. I guess in terms of the Punjabi music scene, like you said, you've I don't know if you were you at the Sac Bash last week?
Yeah. So that was sort of just a last minute trip. So a friend of mine, G Sidhu, who's doing really well in the industry at the moment, I just randomly came up on my Instagram that he was performing in Sacramento. So I went to Google Maps. I'm like, how far is Sacramento from San Francisco? So it was I think it's a couple of hours. It's not too far. So my cousin picked me up. Then we drove to Sacramento. But yeah, it was a good vibe. The organizers done a great job, and there was a great crowd. Everyone was dressed up in traditional kurte paisi, and it was just a good vibe. And then obviously we hung out before the show, and then I think Janni was there.
And
Moga was there as well. So yeah, it was a great experience because we don't get to see these artists perform on stage that often in Australia. Kade, there'll be a tour, but it was great to see that vibe,
I mean, that culture is probably, Australia probably got something, right?
Yeah, it's different because our community is still growing. I'd like to say we're still maybe a good, 7 to 10 years behind Canada, UK and US. So our population is growing, more and more sort of kids are sort of getting into our culture. But yeah, it's good to see here. It's fully flourishing, and it was a good night. enjoyed my time there. We caught up, and yeah.
How long have you been in Australia for?
Born and bred.
Oh wow.
Yeah, Tida Jampal. So yeah, my parents, my mum's actually born in Australia as well.
Oh wow.
So my nanaji came years and years ago, and then he started with farming, and then.
What kind of farming is out in Australia?
So back then it was tamaku, so tobacco farming, and then sugar cane. Nowadays it's more sort of berries, raspberries, blackberries. There's still a lot of sugarcane farming up north as you go up north, but that's sort of the main sort of agricultural sort of.
It's like Canada. A lot of people in like Abbotsford and stuff are like those blueberries.
Farming. Yes.
Yeah.
So, sorry. So blueberries. So there's a place in Australia called Woolgoolga, which is near Coff Harbour. Very strong, Punjabi community there, very sort of condensed. A lot of them are blueberry farmers, and I always see that they're always traveling over here, back and forth, and Canada to sort of, because there's a lot of blueberry farms over here as well. So they must, come over and check out what the scene is like over here and whatnot. So yeah, it's good.
That's cool. I mean, like there's. I mean, you can't take the Punjabi out of Punjab, right? He's still figures it out in Australia.
I think, the people that have like Kheti in their blood, they're gonna do it no matter what, whether you're in India, Punjab, or whether you're in Australia or California, Canada. So it's good that people are sort of continuing that family sort of
the culture.
Exactly. So
and then yourself. You're from Australia. There's not much of a scene out there, but you're still
pushing it.
You're pushing like your own, like your.
Yeah, we're giving it a good shot, giving it a go. It's sometimes I think it's it can be to our advantage as well as our disadvantage, being surrounded by water, not having any. New Zealand, they're our neighbours, but other than that, it's just jare paase pani hai sade. So being so far away, we're so far away from the scene, where it's all happening. But in the other regard, it's good because we stand out a bit more when we do something. Right. So obviously,
definitely.
So when artists, there's you've probably heard of a few artists from Australia, but they're from Australia. And,
I know Pat Daria. He's from Australia.
Yeah, so he's from Australia as well. He's done really well over the years. And then there's a whole new sort of, I think, like I said, we're about 7-10 years behind Canada, UK, US, but I think in the next couple of years, you'll see a lot of producers, a lot of singers coming out of Punjab. It's sort of, I know it sounds cliche, but I think it's going to be our time soon. With the population that's growing and then people migrating, it's bound to happen, right?
Yeah, no, it's
not everyone's going to be doing berry farming. Yeah. People are going to be doing other things as well. Yeah. So
they got you, right, to look up to. They got you to look up to.
Look, I don't know if I will still be doing it.
How were you exposed to it? How did it all start?
I think it was just through my parents. Basically, we had I'm sure a lot of people, VHS tapes and gas singing out Punjab. I used to be really big on it, the New Year's program, Nave Saal da program. If someone went to India, I'd be like, Nave Saal da program leke aaye mud ke. Then it was just exciting because it was 5 or 6 different singers, new songs, and then so I think just
I saw your YouTube channel and your YouTube page, and you have recordings of old, you have a Jamkila tape on there. That thing went viral on YouTube.
Sometimes, because I uploaded it maybe 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah, no, it's from a while back.
So I went through a whole phase where I'd convert these VHS tapes to digital and then upload them. And then, it was cool. There was one that Sadul mimics as well.
That one's a... We actually just saw that video maybe I think last year.
Yeah.
And
it's
that
crazy.
was
what he was
capable of.
Yeah.
Just to even think of something like that, during that time with no social media, that's what people copy nowadays. He's doing that
He was.
It says more to like it's just his vocals, you know. Yeah.
So just uploading those videos, and then just that sort of it slowly built and built and built. It was sort of
it's cool because I mean, there's like this random video. I thought it was just hella funny. The Chabgila swearing one. Oh, it's so random, and I was like, damn, that's like, you know, like what people know Chabgila for, right? And I was like, that's sick. Like,
so, and it was, I just randomly put it on YouTube, but it's like, I don't know, I think it's over 1 million views or something.
No, yeah, there's
something like that.
Yeah,
I haven't checked for a while
because like a lot of VHS tapes now too. Like, I've been trying to like digitize some.
You need to get onto that,
and like they're all like. A lot of them I'll put in the VHS player and they'll just not work.
Yeah, because they're getting old, right?
Yeah.
So
you gotta get on it now.
Thanks for the reminder. I need to get onto some more.
Yeah, I mean we have the Yuba City Mela out here.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that. And then that is quite big as well, right?
Yuba City as well.
See, back in Australia, we've heard of these things.
Yeah.
Like obviously now through the power of social media a bit more, but like. The Yuba City Mela, like it's supposed to be one of the biggest men there, right?
It was. I think just like maybe just with like social media, you know, now there's more Midlas, right? It's not like the same thing. But like back in the day, I think like, you know, they were able to bring out like, you know, more artists because it wasn't like, you know, it wasn't really a thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But back in the day, I do remember like a lot of artists would, you know, show up at these events. Like they would be there, but not invited, but just there with just like the singer. And it was like a kind of like a hub, kind of like how Sak Punjabis. They're like you weren't invited, but you came up, and you know, like that kind of scene is cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
That's a cool scene right
because
there.
we don't, like I said, we don't get that back home. So it's and I can only imagine what Canada's like.
Oh man,
So people are like, you got to come to Vancouver and Toronto. We'll tell you Javange. I've never been to Canada either, so.
Yeah, Vancouver. Vancouver is it's definitely a place to check out.
Yeah, definitely on the cards.
Yeah,
Surrey especially.
Surrey, Brampton. Nice.
King Road. or King George Road. I think.
It's Scott's Road or something.
Scott Road, I think, is in Toronto.
Yeah, Scott Road is the main one. I always remember King George was bigger. But Scott Road is the one.
Oh, nice.
It's interesting how the scene has kind of shifted over time, like from producing artists starting in Punjab, and then the UK was really big in like the 90s, early 2000s. And I think now, like you're seeing so many artists pop up out of Canada, whether it's Brampton, like Sidhu was based out of Canada, Shub, Sukha, like all these younger guys that are coming up. And it would be sick if that shift next up happened in Australia. And I think that would be
I think
that'd be really cool.
I think it's bound to happen. Like when that's, you know, it's it'll be interesting to see. But I think it's already started. Definitely already started.
Even out in California, there's not a ton of. I feel like the producing game is slowly like starting up, right?
So California, you guys are very spread out here, right?
So
it's like where there's like a dense Punjabi population, you'll find, I think that sort of it's accelerated in that area.
Maybe,
And then spaces like here, Australia, where so like there'll be a big population of Punjabis here, big over there, but it's not all in one spot. Like Vancouver it's just like Toronto.
You go to Brampton, you'll be like, okay, now I get it.
Exactly.
You'll be like, I get it now.
So I think it'll happen. Like I've already noticed, like there's a bunch of young kids coming through that I've been in contact with over the last couple of months that have like sent me their music, and you know I've sort of spoken to. Looking very good. Like the future is looking like, you know, it's going to be quite bright. But the other thing is like how much of it do you take on? Like, can you do it full time? Can you drop your work? Can you make it a career? In most cases, I'm going to say no at the start, because you know you still got to go to university. You know, have jobs, and sometimes parents are like,
How did that start for you? Like you said, you got exposed at a young age. You know, you're getting these cassettes, but like, how do you make the transition to be like, I want to try my hand at making music, especially because like technology isn't like it is today, where you can like
Anybody can do
just
it now.
produce on like on a freaking computer,
Splice,
throw
choose
Fruity
5
Loops.
samples,
Yeah.
run together.
Back then it's a little more. I mean, especially if you're working with
Yeah, I think so. I first sort of started. So my first sort of entry into the whole music thing was, I think, it was DJing. So just sort of like family parties, and there was a few individuals where I live in Brisbane that were DJing. So there was a group called Punga Nights. Bindi and Corbs were in that group.
You got like a year? Like what year that was?
This would have been like 2000. Like they've been DJing from the days where like early 90s.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
Okay.
so they had cassettes. So they used to like to play the next song. They had to put a pen in and rewind it, and then play the song at a wedding reception.
Yeah, no,
sort
definitely.
of thing. So, and then obviously vinyls and stuff. But yeah, they'd been DJing from the early 90s through to like the early 2000s. I graduated from high school in 2002.
Okay.
And that's sort of the same time I sort of started noticing these guys at parties and whatnot. So I used to go to parties, weddings, and I was like, oh, wow, that's pretty cool. Making people dance and the whole, having all that power at your fingertips to be able to control the narrative of a party.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Cake cutting, let's chill, let's play something, tanda tanda, and then, ramping it up again. So that was pretty cool. And then I sort of just, approached these guys. I was like, hey, can I join you guys? I am like die hard music. Like I was like obsessed with music, like to the point where like I didn't go to university because I was just like focused on downloading the latest albums, looking at album covers, and like just stuff like that. So yeah, I was just like through the end of my high school, I was just downloading. Come home from school, just download. That's just when the internet sort of started
blowing up around that time too.
Sites like Dolaholic, Pure Punjab, and back in the day there's all these websites, but there were message boards, and that's interesting. I know I'm going off on a tangent, but that's how I know G Sidhu.
Oh wow!
He used to own a website called Dolaholic.
Oh really?
Yeah,
I remember that site.
Yeah,
that's
his name, like I still call him Gary, but it was Gary Sidhu.
Okay,
and he had there was a feature on the site where they had message boards and people would interact with each other. It's like this album, talking about albums.
It's a forum.
Forum. That's it. Yeah. So, and then little old me in Australia, like I was so excited because it was like, everything's happening in America, Canada, UK. So we communicate over the forums, and we just stayed in touch over the years. The next thing, he's singing, and he's got a sick voice. I was like, wow, sort of thing. So
he's got a good voice.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's sort of going back to what I was talking about. Just sort of got into DJing, and then from DJing got into remixing. I made a few remixes back in the day of Dela Geda.
Oh yeah.
Called it something corny like Dela Spin or something like that. It's just teenage humor.
Yeah.
And then a few other mixes like Gippy's Fulkari I remixed, and then it went on because I was pretty close to Jyoti Dhillon from Planet Records.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so he helped me quite a bit. He got some of my mixes on some of their.
How did you come to meet him?
It's all about MSN Messenger, bro.
Wow.
MSN.
Now the internet right there.
Yeah,
Wow.
it was all MSN, and like I was like a young Punjabi guy, and let's face it, Australia was like we didn't have much access to that music, and then when the internet opened up, it was like, wow, okay, so we've got all this music at our fingertips now. So just sort of got some of my remixes out there, and then that led to production. I was like, if I can remix music, I can give production a try as well. And one thing led to another, and then I was producing music. So
what was the first thing you dropped?
So the first production was Bakshi Billa's album.
Really? That was the first one?
Nachne Da Mazza. So I'm sure you've heard of Mophylactic.
Yeah, I've heard of Mophylactic.
From Melbourne. So he was a good friend of mine. His name's Sandeep Sands, we called him. He was also DJing in Melbourne. So we both happened to go to India one year. I was going for my cousin's wedding. He was marrying Mangi Mahal's sister.
Oh, wow.
So you can imagine this big wedding in Jalandhar, and there's all these singers, Surinder Shinder's there.
Wow.
Like at the time, I think Jazzy was there. and it was too many singers to name. It was just like crazy. So we went to, like, obviously this is sort of my first sort of, meeting singers and that sort of thing, all because of the wedding. And then I was like, me and Sands or Mofalactor were like, all right, let's get some vocals recorded. So we booked a studio in Mittapur, I think in Jalandhar. Mangi Paji helped out. So this was my new sort of contact in the industry as well, as well as being my puppy's brother.
I randomly met the guy at a mall
really?
once. He was he was having and I was in Punjab.
Okay.
But I was just like, oh my God, like this fool is just having like a meet and greet at some random mall, and I was like,
there you go.
It's literally this fool, man. Yeah.
So there you go.
That's badass.
So yeah,
That's a connect.
So it just worked out, and then he knew all these singers. So we were like, we want to get Sarangi done. He knew a Sarangi musician. We need to get Tumbi done. And it was funny because the guy he recommended for Tumbi was Bakshi Billa.
Oh, wow.
Wow. So we were like, okay. And then he came into the studio. We done Tumbi. We recorded Tumbi. This is 2005, 2006.
And Bakshi Billa's not like on the map yet, right?
No. So he's one of those guys that have sort of just, I don't know, I think it's maybe the commercial aspect. These days it's all about the, Gucci Gachi, whatever. Yeah. So he came to the studio, he played Tumbi, and then he goes up Megavil and Nahana. He goes up and doing chorus for Sabjit Kaur and Kaldeep Manik Saab for these years. So so he sang a song and we were just blown away. We're like, whoa, what just happened? So he sang a few songs. We recorded his vocals and a whole bunch of other vocals. I think we recorded like 20, 30 vocals back then. And then we came back and I listened back to his vocals and I was like, wow, this is crazy. Like I was like, wow, Lambert or
he has a video with him and Lambert singing like the UK. Have you ever seen that? Him
on stage?
It's Bakshi Billa and Lambert singing together.
Yeah, I think
and
that's
it's just
the one.
And it's just like I'm like, this fool, like how did no one even know this guy?
Yeah, he's like an undiscovered gem, right?
Yeah.
So came back and then I was like, I need more vocals of Bakshi Billa. And then at that same time, I was talking to VIP Records, Vips, who's unfortunately not with us anymore. He passed away a couple of years ago.
Oh, shit.
But yes, I always remember he's the first guy that gave me a chance. I sent him a couple of samples and he literally said, yeah, we'll release your music. We'll pay for your music videos, etc., etc. So wow. For me, that was a big thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Because, you're growing up, you're a teenager, you don't have money saved up to do
music videos
and stuff.
Yeah.
So,
and you're the funny thing is I was replaying it recently. I mean, I saw your face and I'm like, that's you in the music video.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I had a lot more hair back then. I was a lot skinnier as well.
Yeah. I was like, you're like the main act in there.
Yeah, it was fun. I mean, that was a whole different vibe as well. The whole music shoot, going over there. I went with a couple of friends. We drove from Jalandhar to Chandigarh in the middle of the night. It was in this paddock, nothing was there, and then they switched on all the lights, and then you see these bongo dancers coming, and it was a great vibe.
That song is like, in 2009, one of my cousins got married, and that was like, I remember, right, it was 2009 when it dropped, I think, right?
What was that, sorry?
It came out in 2009?
Yeah.
So I remember, because I remember Unforgettable came out that year.
Imran Khan?
And then, and then your or the Nachne Da Mazza was like, this, those were like the
you got a good memory, man. You got a good memory.
Bangers of that year. The year, yeah.
It was I think it was it's a different sort of sound as well for that time. It was quite desi.
It's folk.
Yeah,
I mean, we're folk.
Yeah.
But it's like soup. I always say super folk. But
So it was. It was a sort of different. It's like Patola. We talk about that as well. But even Patola is a bit of a step back from the music that's out these days.
For sure. Definitely.
That's a big part of the success of Nachne Da Mazza as well. But that was it. We just sort of fast forwarding a bit. Bakshi sent over a couple of vocals. I said, let's release an album, send me some vocals. So he sent 8 or 9 vocals. I think Sands or Mofalactor.
Is that album I mean, you're not the only producer on there. There's
Pal D.
Yeah, Pal D.
Yeah. So I was once again MSN, right? That's how we communicated back then. So I said to Pal D, I said, "Do you want to do a track of the album? I'll give you a vocal for it, and you can use that on your album." So he said, "Fine." So
I think the song's like Horpeg, right? For Pal D.
Horpeg Party, Horpeg Party.
Yeah.
And then he again, Aja Pabi, Chak Chanjara, Gidde Vich Nach Ke Dekha.
No, dude, that album is like.
Yeah.
I hit up one of my buddies because me and him were just like big on it. I'm like, dude, I'm about to interview the guy who did Nachne Da Mazza. He's like,
Is that who's that?
no. He's like, oh, bro, like that was like. I mean, I was like 19 when that came out, so it was like prime, like that's like when you're like doing bhangra. Like,
So you're only a couple of years younger than me. So I was around that sort of age.
I know, like if Amr was here too, he would have been like, me and him kind of like, because we were like, dude, Nachne Da Mazza is like, that was the.
He has a slams. Our co-host couldn't make it today, but he also has a song with Bakshi Billa, right? Both the Jaktada, I think.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah. Is that the one that they shot? He's always in the gym and he plays that song, right? It's very loud.
It is like a
song.
It's a pretty.
I heard that. It's a good song. That one.
Yeah. We have that Bakshi Billa. Yeah. So you put that fool on the map. That's crazy.
Yeah.
He and then years after that, Sonaring Year came out with Manny Sandhu and
I was gonna say that song.
But we done that, and then from that some more projects flowed, and
that's cool. Like I mean, that album, it's not just only you dropping the music. You had like
various others. We're trying to sort of do our thing. Like at that stage, like Pav wasn't, he hadn't started singing or anything yet. It was just. I think before me there was a guy called Mintu. Like he's from like the early '90s, late '90s. He had a song called Munda Didgeridoo Baja Gaya. Okay. Yeah, you got to check it out YouTube. So didgeridoo is a big
instrument, Australian. Yeah.
So and then after that, like from memory, I don't think there were any other producers that were doing this. So it was for me it was just like whatever.
There's this guy. We've actually brought from the Medla. He does Shabad Kirtan. Like his name's like Daya Singh.
Daya Singh from Melbourne, yes.
Yeah, and he has that. One of the guys can't pronounce it right, but he like so it makes those, so it makes those cool sounds and like
So Uncle G is quite popular in Australia as well. So he does a lot of programs. His daughters sing as well.
Yeah.
So one of his daughters. Parvin, I've seen a video like the other day. She does a lot of crossover fusion stuff as well. So they're rapping as well. They're doing a really good job.
They have really good music.
Yes,
it's not just like Baja harmonium.
Traditional,
it's like violin, guitar, and then the
they mix it up quite a bit, which is so cool. Because you get sort of other people listening to it other than your traditional like.
We actually met him randomly. We met him at some festival. Like 40 minutes from Yuba City, like randomly
World Music Festival sort of thing.
It's like some like hippie like type of like festival, and it's like he's like singing. I think he sings like Mastakalandar, right? And like people are like just vibing out, and you're just like the last place you expect this guy to be.
Exactly. It's pretty cool, man. Now they've done really well.
That's cool.
You mentioned Patola, right? That's probably what last year it was a big hit, and you said like it was kind of a step back from what the majority of Punjabi music nowadays in the modern era is being produced. Like, how did that sort of come about? Like, how did you get in touch with Raf? Like, what was the story behind that track?
So Raf reached out to me early last year. So he was just planning his world tour, which I think it started in Australia.
I think he performed at the Opera House.
That's right. Yeah. So before that, we knew about each other, like very minimal sort of communication. Once again, he knew me from Nachne Da Mazza. So he knew that I had produced it. So he reached out to me. He knew I was from Australia, and he asked me, he goes, "Look, I'm hitting Australia soon. We've got a few shows planned around the country, but there's one in particular at the Opera House that I want to do a live set for. So I want some live instruments. So yeah, basically reached out and asked if I could help him with getting a few musicians together. So we done exactly that. We rehearsed a few times a couple of days before the show and whatnot, and yeah, the show went well. While he was there, we spoke. I showed him some of the music that I was working on and whatnot. There was one beat in particular that he really liked. It was like proper folk. Pretty much it was Patola, but it wasn't Patola. It was like we'd done a lot of stuff afterwards, but it was, you could tell that it was a very folk orientated track. So he liked the beat. Then he was like, let's do something. Went back to the UK and then we just sort of started looking at lyrics and whatnot. And then hit up Jaggi Jaguar. Yeah, he's good, man.
Yeah.
He's a good writer, very good writer. I was like, Paji, da beat aaya, the singer aaya, te karo koi.
So they do it like that. They look at the singer and then they
and the beat.
Yeah, a lot of singers have different
the
styles and vocal tones and whatnot. So he then, I guess, he pictured that in his mind and he sent this vocal, all the lyrics, and then Raf was like, yeah, lock it in.
That's wild. It awesome. Happens like that. I thought it, like, sometimes you hear, like, you get the vocals and you curate a track maybe like around it.
Well, traditionally, that's what I've done. Like, I prefer hearing a vocal and then making music, which is, it's interesting because I feel, and I need a good vocal. I can't just have my dad singing or anyone like that. I need someone to sing, and then that sort of, it gives you a bit of energy to make the music. Like, oh yeah, you're chucking some sarangi there or tumbi, that sort of thing, right? So I traditionally needed the vocal first, and then I made music. But this was something different for me as well. So I already had this beat made, and then we had got the lyrics afterwards. So a few minor adjustments, added a few things, played around, and then sent it over. Raf was happy with it. One thing I'll say about Raf, he's a perfectionist, which is good.
Yeah,
that's exactly what you need to be successful, especially in this game. He wasn't just like, let's just release it, whatever. We sort of went back and forth a few times. The time difference didn't really help either.
Yeah, that was probably tough.
Yeah, so, and then, Patola was born. And then he made a video like that. I think he performed it at Boiler Room before his tour started, over this North American side of the tour started. And Young Singh played it at Boiler Room where there was a big crowd. Got a great response, and then I think, the rest is sort of history. Yeah, got a good response. A lot of Bhangra teams hopped on board as well.
It's like when you had Nachne Da Mazza, it was like folk song.
So with the music, I like to think of it as a very similar vibe to Nachne Da Mazza, especially like the bass line and whatnot. I sort of tried to model it off Nachne Da Mazza because I knew Raf liked that song, which is how he knew about me, and I was like, okay, I don't want to make it sound exactly like Nachne Da Mazza, but I'll keep it in the same ballpark. Right. I'm pretty blessed and grateful that everyone took it on board, and here's to more music in the future coming soon. Yeah.
You also in the intro, when we learned from slams how like Jelly Manjeetpuri is like the intro.
He's the intro man.
He's the intro for that.
He's like the MC of Punjab. Awesome.
So he does a lot of Tumbi recordings for a lot of the music industry. And then for Sarangi, my go-to is a Sarangi player called Kang. Kang Paji lives in Punjab as well. So I hit them up for the piecework. So we basically just sent the empty track beat with the vocals, and they sort of add their flair, their touch. And then with Jelly Paji, he's known for he Nag too. I think he done as well.
Dude, he does intros.
He's done so many. It's like
he's done one I really like. I mean, I mentioned in the last podcast. He has for Manny Sandhu, he does an intro for him. And I think this album came out in like 2014, 2015.
Is that the song that he sings as well?
I don't know if he sings it, but he does like an intro.
Okay.
And
that's cool.
It was I mean,
it just gives the track a great start Like
Yeah.
you fire that up, you hear the intro, boom, all right.
It like sets the tone.
Yeah.
I didn't.
You know?
I actually didn't think about it. Nog too. That's him doing the
Yeah,
intro.
yeah,
Yeah.
So that's
definitely.
him. But he's iconic, and it's not like you hear it once, you get over it. Like you could hear it in, and I think he's on Jazzy's new album, new EP as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's on there as well. So
Cobra,
yeah, he sort of that's his sort of like I guess his party trick.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like I went to him for
good.
Kobe,
Yeah,
and I was
little
like,
voice,
I knew
yeah.
he'd done the intros. I was like, but he can done it.
He's
Yeah.
talented, but he's also vocally talented.
I like his vocals.
He's
His vocals
vocally
are
talented.
pure
So when you
folk
hear that,
vocals,
like,
yeah.
folk, it's like that.
It's a deep,
Yeah.
Punjabi Bardic.
It gets you hyped.
Yeah.
It gets you
Yeah.
hyped.
So he's an all-rounder, man. So yeah, he done the intro. I left it to him. First, I think, first take he sent, he called me Jasper or something. Jasper. I was like, you need Jasper, Jasper.
Yeah.
And then he mispronounced Raf's name as well. So he just re-recorded it and bang.
Dude, that's Desi comedy.
Yeah.
That's like how it is in India.
Exactly,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You got to literally like spell it out.
Yeah.
Because Jesta isn't like a normal name, or he's like, what the hell is he talking
Yeah.
about? Jesta.
Yeah.
It's funny, just on that, in Australia, we have an airline called Jetstar.
Jetstar. Yeah.
So I get confused with the airline. Once I got this booking, like, because I DJ, right? I
Yeah.
still DJ. And then this guy called me up. He goes, I just want to cancel a booking for next Friday. And I looked at my calendar. I was like, I didn't have a booking for next Friday. And he's like, yeah, we're flying out at about... and it still didn't click. I'm like, what's this guy talking about? And he's like, we're flying. And then it clicked. I was like, he's talking about the airline. I was sorry, I was Punjabi DJ from Brisbane. I'm not a national airline carrier.
Very different.
That's
Two very
wild.
different things.
That's wild.
So yeah.
How did you come up with that name, Jester?
Well, initially, like when I done all these like Bakshi Billa songs, Nachne Da Mazza, and I done quite a few actually songs under the alias Jaskurn Gosal. And then my DJ name was DJ Jesta all along from the start.
Oh, okay.
It was just like, 'cause when I was young, my parents called me Jesse, and I was like, I want to be a star when I grow up. Jesta.
That's solid.
Yeah, that's good.
That's solid.
So yeah, pretty corny, but yeah.
No, that's
It's a cool
come
name.
up.
Yeah.
And then I don't know what came into my mind. I was like, I want to separate my production name, Jaskurn Gosal, and keep it separate and keep my DJing where I can do parties as DJ Jesta. And so for a while I done that. And then I was like, it makes sense to just have the same name. So people don't associate me with, he's the DJ that produced that song.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
like, I'm not Superman. I don't need two identities,
Yeah.
So I just went back to DJ Jesta, and then we done a bunch of tracks under that name. So yeah, that's how DJ Jesta came about.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. Like going back to Patola, like even when Raf was promoting it, he was talking about how, like what I was saying earlier about how in the modern or postmodern age, like it's a lot of hip hop, a lot of trap music, R&B, and Punjabi, which is great, right? You see the evolution, but I think Bhangra music, folk music, the way it was back in like 2009, isn't as popular as it is now. So it was really cool seeing like a classic Bhangra folk, like dance floor banger type track like Patola, like get the love and the reception that it did, because it showed that like Bhangra music, while it might not be as popular as it was back in the early 2000s, or like maybe even in the 90s, like it still hits.
Yeah, I think it's at the end of the day, like it's still like it's where we come from, right?
It's our core.
Yeah, it's our core. It's our roots.
And I can tell, by talking to you guys love that sound as well.
Yeah.
I mean, you might listen to a bit of like Punjabi trap or whatever.
No, we all listen to that.
Everyone, I mean, for me personally, like I'll listen to it in small doses. Yeah, like you need to be something different for your ears. You need to mix it up or whatever. But like just hearing a sarangi on a toll beat with a bit of a beeline and a bit of a tornaka in the background, Pumbida tornaka, that it's just can't beat it.
Yeah.
And I think so to make the music, a lot of music that comes out these days, you can get samples, right? You don't need to get a drummer into a studio. You don't need to necessarily know how to play bass lines or riffs and whatnot. So it's easier to access these sounds, like you can buy them online. So I think people are like, yeah, I can, do this. I'll just do it. And then there's a lot of people doing it at the same time. Because it's so accessible now and it's easier to make music. You just buy a laptop, headphones or whatever. But to make that, there's a lot more work involved in making like a desi track. Whether it's bhangra or whether it's like a slower, sad song even. You still got to go to studio, record a flute in the right rag, in the right tempo. You can't buy a sample.
Are there any instruments that you play, like specifically for your music?
So I play tumbi, play baja, tool. I wouldn't say I'm like a tool master.
I saw in like some videos too on your YouTube account. You sing too.
Boliyan la do. After a couple of beverages, after a couple of coffees, maybe. Or read what you want into that. Just fun with the boys, like
I saw you were on stage at one point doing.
Don't remind me. Just a bit of fun, like
that's cool.
Like I think the whole,
But like that kind of style is also like why like we love like folk Punjabi music. Like you don't even have to have like the most like best voice. It's just
you gotta have a passion for it. Right?
You hear that sometimes that passion in the voice. When,
exactly. And like I'm not necessarily like world class totally. I'm not a world class tumbi or harmonium musician, but I know enough for what I need. So I know what my limits are, and I know, okay, if I can't do this, I'll just get someone else to do it. So with tumbi that I got, I was originally going to play on Patola, but I was like, no, the sound quality, because Jelly Paji's got this like great setup. So he obviously does his day in, day out. So I was like, no, let's not try and, I'm not going to try and pump my own balloon. I'll just get Jelly Paji because that's his thing.
That's his thing.
So like you got to know your limits sort of thing as well at the same time. But
that's cool.
And going back to your original comment, it's I think folk music is going to come back. I think especially this year, even I've heard a few interviews of some of the producers that make this modern music saying we're going to go back to Tool and Tumbi and Sarangi, because that's what we're made up of. That's the fabric that we come from.
That's our roots.
Like talking about G Sidhu, he has like his last 2 albums. He's dropped like a folk track. Well, I think Big Bird.
Was it?
Yeah, Lalkare. And then he has one. It's like when I forget. It's like clunking of like glasses. I forget the name. Moonshine.
That's such a good song.
That's like
that's a banger.
It's such a good. Just the clunking of the glasses sounds good.
Exactly.
It's got a different vibe.
Yeah.
So he's another guy. I think he's just bubbling. He's about to blow up. I reckon. His voice is like
it's incredible.
No, his voice,
remarkable voice. We're cooking up something as well.
That's exciting. So I was gonna ask. I was like, you guys you know each other for a long time.
I've been on his back. I was like, we need to do something, and then finally we got around to like finding some lyrics. We sort of mucked around with a few beats and stuff. So it's
we expect something soon
in the pipeline. Something different. Something different as well. I know it's cliche. Every producer says we're coming up with something different. But this will be something different. So see how we go.
There's always something. Bring it. Just like that. Folk sounds.
Folk music.
And just that whole recording thing. Because I was like listening to just like a recent song. I don't think I've heard it for like a few years, but it was like I think it's called like Jannat by this like artist from the UK, and he has like Sunil Kalyan doing the percussion and his like just that in the music. Everything else could be fake, but it's like it's
crazy, man. Like he's
elevates the whole freaking song.
It makes a big difference, and like even a person that might not be musically inclined will still notice that. Like,
it comes through.
Power of it. So you could play something, for your chacha or taya that doesn't know Jack, but he'll still tabla bada vadiya bajya hai, sort of thing. It'll shine. But he's a G, man. So Sunil Kalyan, Jagira, some of these musicians from the UK just like crazy. And we have musicians in Australia as well, but like they don't get the limelight sometimes because we're so far away. Like I said, we're still growing as a community, but yeah, I think that time will come.
Yeah.
That's cool.
No.
You want to?
No, I was just gonna say like the folk music, like it was so sick to hear that track. It was like they have like the Spotify Wrapped or the Apple Music Wrapped. Like that was Patola was my number one listened to track last year.
That's sick. That's sick, man.
Because like something about like when you hear this from the very start, like you hear the Algoze, right, and then you hear Jelly just go like Jatovic Anna Jordan.
They just hyped it up. Right?
I can't skip it after that. I'm just like I have to listen to this now. Yeah, I love that track. Man.
So yeah, it's cool. It's cool to hear that because like me sitting in my little bedroom in Australia making it, and from that to sitting in California to you saying that is just mind blowing, man.
Yeah,
like
you touched a lot of people.
Yeah, dude.
Thanks, man. And like I said, it's not like I'm not here to make millions from it.
Right.
I probably won't make much money from music production, but it's something that keeps me sane, keeps me connected, and if like it's not commercial. Yeah, I get it. It's not that commercial sometimes, but yeah, I don't care.
It's authentic though, right? It's real.
The OG
personal.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And the fact that you guys remember the track is a big thing as well. Because you know what, the lifespan of a track these days. I'm sure there's some tracks that will go and they'll be big, but like a lot of songs just get lost. Like a lot of my songs as well. I'm not going to say. I'm different, but a lot of my songs are sort of falling through the cracks. No one's ever heard them, and they're just there, sort of thing. So, it's very nice knowing, man, and humbling that Jelly has an influence in that intro. It worked, because we were like, what can we do at the start? But that's sick.
Yeah. I saw like some songs that I mean. I didn't know that you were part of, but like I saw that you mixed like one of Lakhvinder Wadali's song.
Yeah,
he even like mentions you in the song. So I was like, you got how did that work out?
So that was just through a mutual friend. So Lakhvinder Paji was touring, and I'm not gonna lie, I've chased a lot of singers in my time because we're so far away, you don't get these opportunities. So I'll try and find a connection. I'll be like, hey, I really want to do a track with so and so or whatever. And sometimes it works, whatever. People are willing to collaborate. Sometimes artists don't want to collaborate. I don't know what the reason for that is. Maybe for them it's a risk working with someone they don't know, and they're that sort of thing. So, I always reach out and what's the worst that could happen? Like they say no, whatever. And that's because another reason is because we're in Australia, we don't have access to artists like that. There are now new artists that are coming through, but traditionally a lot of the artists are from India, Punjab, or the UK, and now Canada and USA as well. So I just my mate told me that Wadali was coming, and just spoke to Lakhvinder Pai and made the track, and he put it on his album.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
I was just like, wow, okay, cool. Not very nice of him, actually, very nice. Because like I've been rejected a lot of times, and it's nice when you don't get rejected. It's a good feeling.
I mean, you're passionate. That's, we like that.
Exactly, but a lot of people don't see that passion, so they sort of just like like I've got. I don't want to get into too much. This is the juicy stuff, right? But like I've got messages from singers like that I've heard, because there's a few tracks that I've done. I've done this track with Parith Pal called Law.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Part of Dhillon DC, and a few other tracks, Aha Balia and so forth. But I've got messages in my inbox of people, talking about the track and whatnot, and then me messaging back and thank you and everything, and then later on these people have become singers, right? And then I've messaged back, but that's it, sort of thing, dead end. And then I don't know if they're too busy in the multi-million-dollar lifestyle, flying private jets. You know what I mean? But it's funny because it's just the way our people, once they get a bit of fame, this is what happens to them, which is sad, but it is what
They'll
it
be
is.
back. When they want that
Yeah,
road track,
yeah.
they're gonna be like, I need a track like that.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean,
Who knows? You might find another Bakshi Billa too, right?
never know. Man.
Yeah.
Never know.
Yeah.
Never know. But yeah, look, it's that's how that hookup happened, and yeah, the rest is history.
That's cool. I mean, you is that how you also seeked out Pinda Jat too? Like,
Yeah, so I literally I was like, "Man, where is this guy? He hasn't been around for years." And then I slowly, just through social media, we connected, and then because he's an OG.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the song you made is
California,
good.
California.
Oh,
Yeah,
King,
it's a
yeah.
good track. Yeah, it's a good track. Yeah.
Cheers, man.
Yeah.
And then we just got started talking, and I was like, let's do a track. So we've done 2 tracks now, but yeah, hopefully more in the future.
Yeah.
I just told Paddy, I said, Paddy, you just need to be a little bit more, social media savvy. I think he's a bit like busy to go on and post stuff because, obviously he's got his own, whatever he's doing, he's busy with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, he can make a comeback anytime. Like,
Oh yeah, definitely.
He's got the talent.
He's got the. We got to see him make a comeback at a rap show in SF.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
So
He brought out Pinda Jat, and he also brought out Jazzy B.
Jazzy, I've seen that. They're on the stage, right?
Yeah.
Sitting and doing bowling.
They were on the stage at one point together, and that's never been done,
Yeah.
That's
which
crazy.
is just
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah.
But just having Pinda Jat sing, like anything, is like this Jat diyan boldiyan is like
Exactly.
yeah.
It's funny because a lot of a few of the younger generation I've spoken to, they haven't heard Budgie's voice. But then you play a song and they go, oh, that's Pinda Jat?
They don't know the name.
Yeah, the song.
Like,
so
yeah.
I just, it'd be good to bring him back into the limelight and educate some of these younger kids, which I think is, it's important for our culture.
Yeah, it's funny
good.
actually. Like that show that we're referring to is actually what sparked this podcast because
Cool.
we were talking
Folk and
about it
funky,
on the
right?
drive back. Yeah, so I mean, I was a fan of Raf's his first big project, Rough Around the Edges. That whole mixtape was like my introduction to him as a younger generation artist who is tapped in with both like modern type music, hip hop, rap, but also with he's classically trained.
He's so versatile.
Yeah, like really great folk artist, great folk voice, like all that. And so yeah, like you mentioned, like when he brought Pinda Jat out, I'll be honest, I didn't know who he was. I was like, who's that? And someone was standing next to me, he's like, that's Pinda Jat. I was like, oh, like I've heard of him.
Yeah, and then now
And then
that's Pinda Jat.
Yeah, and it's just like that's the whole reason why. One of the reasons why I wanted to start this with Simran and later on with Slams is I learned so much from them, right? Because they're probably a generation above me, and they pass down all this knowledge of folk music, which I love so much. Like starting with the OGs from Monik and Jamkila and Sardul Sikandar, and like throughout our Punjabi music history, it's been a crazy like evolution.
Also,
crazy,
we're also lucky where we live, so I feel like we get a lot of people that come here and he saw you on like Instagram on a story, and he's like,
yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, it was just on a whim. I honestly wasn't because like we've reached out to a bunch of artists too to get them on the podcast, and for one reason or another, like some response,
too busy,
some
right?
don't.
And so you know what it feels like, right?
Yeah, no, for sure. So my thing is like I'm always gonna like reach out.
Yeah.
Worst thing they can say is no, or
Exactly.
they ignore it, and that's fine. So when I saw you in Sacramento, and I was like, oh, this guy's from Australia. Like, who knows when he's gonna be back here?
Yeah, exactly.
And
I don't know when my wife will let me come back. I might have to bring her with me next time, and the girls.
Yeah.
So no, it's cool, man. Like, and my thing was to come out here and make the most of it. So it's not really a holiday, but it is sort of thing. But it was more of like getting out and networking and meeting you guys, because obviously I've seen your podcast with obviously with Slams as well. So it's cool, man. Like it's and now that I know you guys, if you ever come to Australia, obviously
definitely we'll reach out.
Be my guest. But
absolutely,
it's good. It's connecting with like-minded individuals, which is cool. And we have to sometimes we have to go far and wide to find that. In this case, Australia, California, you know what I mean? So, and I think like something like this, we need to start in Australia as well, like a podcast. You guys have taken a great step in doing this. opens up a lot of doors.
No, like I think the most important thing about this is just showcasing our artists, right? Like so many people don't know like somebody who made music like 20 years ago, right? Like,
well, people don't even know I done Patola.
Yeah.
Like I met someone the other day. He's like, "Oh, so you produce music?" I was like, "Yeah." So what tracks have you done? I was like, "I don't know if you know Raf-Saperra, but I just produced Patola. It was his the second last track now."
Yeah.
But he's like, "You made Patola?" I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Oh wow!" So, and then people, it's funny because people have a different perception of you. Then I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah.
But it's cool. But like, love is love, right?
Yeah.
So I'm very blessed and grateful. And,
I mean, a lot of people don't know even who Raf is.
yeah.
I mean, he was
I think like the
underground
older
artist.
generation, like our parents.
Yeah.
Mostly, I think like if I not now, my parents know obviously because I don't interact with him. But like if I were to tell them, there's this guy singing out of the UK and this is his voice, they would not match the voice to the
No, they won't.
the image, right?
Yeah, the face. Yeah.
And that he's like I was saying, he's so versatile to be able to sing in so many different styles, different genres. Now he's releasing like a love ballad, Sufi type album.
It's dropping on Friday. Actually,
He's doing things that like I feel like I want to see from other artists. But he pushes the like not pushes
Boundaries.
he pushes. I mean, he's basically representing the culture.
Yeah.
So he's showing like you never hear an artist sing a Sufi song.
No,
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's badass.
It's more like Chakadunga, that's what we do in our side, like Bandaman.
Those even like a guzzle, like hearing like a guzzle, man, you don't even hear that anymore.
Yeah, very
so
rare.
It's nice.
Yeah.
Very rare.
It's like maybe like I feel like right now maybe Sartaj is the only guy who sings like that type of.
Would be number one, and even like Raj Brad's son, Josh Brad, I think.
Okay, he dropped that one song.
That's a different vibe altogether as well. So, it's he's good, man.
I was trying to get Raf, I remember for my Jago, but my dad got Kanwar Garewal. So
Oh, really?
It was like, it was like for him. It was for him. So I was like, whatever.
Different vibe. See, the oldies would love that. The whole.
He was like, he didn't know who Raf was. He's like,
exactly.
He's like, Kanwar Garewal is Kanwar Garewal. He's like, no, different style. Like,
Maybe for Lodi.
huh?
Maybe for Lodi, you can get Raf.
That would be incredible. Yeah.
But no, that's cool, man.
Yeah. No, I mean, obviously we're really glad that we made this happen. I know it was a very short notice.
Thank you to you boys, for making it happen. It worked out well because I'm flying out in literally like 3 or 4 hours. And then for you guys to be able to organize it on such short notice. But I appreciate you guys having me, and you guys are repping the culture. Keep doing it.
Appreciate it.
I'm not the only one. Like just because you make music or sing, you guys are doing your part. Everyone's got their part. Because if there's no point us doing what we do if no one's going to shine it on a bigger stage, right?
Yeah.
I can make music till I'm 90, but if there's no one to show it to the world, then you better.
Yeah.
So you guys have got just an important part in the industry. So keep doing what you guys are doing, man.
Yeah, no, that means a lot, man. We appreciate it.
No worries at all. And once again, if you're ever in Australia and you want to see a kangaroo or koala, hit me up. We got kangaroos where we live, just hopping on the side of the road and whatnot.
Yeah.
So,
It's like they have like something out there called like a platypus or something like
platypus, yeah. Oh, you don't have platypus?
No,
All
that's not a thing.
So it's like a weed. It's like a. I think it's a mammal.
It's like a beaver.
Like a beaver sort of thing.
It's like a duck.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
It's got
It's like, it looks like a Pokemon to me.
Yeah, it actually does. I think they modeled a Pokemon off it, to be honest.
Yeah.
I went through that phase as well, the old Pokemon trading cards and whatnot. So,
Yeah. So we'll wrap it up here with one thing we've done in the past with our guests is we'll do a little speed round here with a few quick questions for you just to close it off. So the first one being, who's been your most played artist recently? Just someone that you've been really like, someone that's been hitting for you recently.
Recently, I think always, and recently is, there's a few, right? Bindra Kia, Jazzy B.
Oh, yeah.
Well, they're the main ones. Because of my work as well, being a DJ, I play a lot of them as well.
Yeah.
So naturally, but I'd say, Bindra Kia would have to be probably number one.
Yeah.
Kia,
The GOAT, in my opinion.
the best ever.
Yeah, the
best
greatest of all time, yeah.
I mean, every song he's dropped always a hit.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's like one song that
It's
is
crazy.
like not like a freaking.
No,
you know,
like they're all like, and the older you go in his catalog, the better the songs get.
Yeah. Legend. An artist that is, in your opinion, underrated, or maybe somebody that you think is up and coming that people should know about or watch out for.
That's a good question. I think that's a really good question. Actually, like because of social media, a lot of people know about them now.
Yeah, for sure.
The artists,
but still, like someone who's maybe just
underrated, or someone that you think should get more respect,
not representative.
Than they do, or
maybe
something.
he's an Australian artist that out here we
someone that you think people should keep an eye on the radar.
I think I'm going to go with G Sidhu because I think he's got the perfect launching pad. But I think he's going to go on to like some big stuff now. So I think, especially with like the older generation, like our parents and stuff, I think he's going to be known to them more and more soon as well. So yeah, I'll say G Sidhu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to G Sidhu, man.
he's awesome.
Finally, who is somebody that you would like to see us have on the podcast next, and would you be able to help us get connected?
Okay. I think you guys need to get. Ooh, that's a good question. You have to obviously. You haven't had Jazzy on yet, right?
We have not. No.
Hit your boy Slams up, man. Hit him up.
Yeah. He's he'll come to California every now and then for weddings and shows and whatnot. So hopefully we'll catch him.
You guys need to get pinned up on.
Yeah, that's another one.
I can make a few phone calls.
Yeah.
Local.
He's local. Yeah.
Kunda khadgao. Yeah, bhai kitna ਘੰਟਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ?
Yeah, and we got a very mobile setup. Like we thankfully were able to find the studio last minute close to the airport, so we could accommodate you, and we just brought all our stuff here.
Probably here in a plane right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So I reckon get one of those two boys. They're both OGs, and
Who
definitely.
Like last question too. Who's like your like top 3 artists? Like
Producers or singers?
let's hear both, producer and singer.
Producers, I would have to say probably True School.
Okay.
Legend.
Sukhshinder Shinda. And let's say, I'm going to say Aman Hairs.
I was going to say Aman.
Even Dr. Zeus, these guys,
Shout out
top
to
4,
Zeus.
there you go.
I'm in here.
Yeah, they're the,
OGs.
the clutch crew.
Yeah.
I'm in here.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I have an old VHS tape I got to pull out. I mean, I've been messing with it, but I'm in here used to be totally for Suffree Boys.
Yeah, back in the day, right?
So I got like a video with like
that's
him
pretty
playing
cool.
Dole before he was I'm in here.
So they came over here?
Huh? He can't. Yeah. So one
wow.
for the UBC Medla, they brought Balwinder Suffree and his boys, and it was like literally like listening to something from a CD.
That's
it was so.
You guys had the Sangeet group of California as well back in the day. I remember.
Yeah.
That's like going back a bit.
Yeah.
But I remember like growing up when internet just started.
Yeah.
There's a website called Punjab Online, and like there was
samples
of
get in at you.
That was a classic.
Lal Singh Bhatti had a Sangeet group.
Yeah, that's his group. That was his group.
Oh, yeah.
He was part of
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
So you guys got to be.
Yeah, one of the guys local from Yuba.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Next time I'll definitely come to Yuba. Let me know when the Mela is on the negative. I'll come, man.
No, it's a time.
It's world famous.
And like your top 3 artists,
Singers.
At the moment, like alive. Let's go alive.
Let's go alive.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's say Jazzy, Gurdas Maan, and Harjeet Harman.
Harjeet Harman. That's a good one.
With a curveball there.
Yeah.
I love to do a track with Harjeet Harman. Like, he's got that sort of in his voice. Is like he's got a bit of everything in his voice. Tavia, a bit of.
It's like that. Like, a song I really like from is Jat Chovi Ke.
That's a classic. Yeah, you can play it on DJ anytime. So man, they're the ones. I mean, they'll be great to work with one day.
Yeah.
See how we go.
We'll see that, maybe in our life. In our lifetime.
One day.
We've got some stuff coming out.
You said you can go till 90, so
Look,
Keep going.
hopefully I survive this Brazil trip next week. Then they'll be on that. But see how we go. But it's good. Like for me, it's not like I don't do this full time. So like, I do it when I get chance. When I get chance with the family and stuff. So hopefully keep doing it for a while and see how we go.
Yeah, well, we're gonna be right there pushing you and
cheers.
supporting
Appreciate
your music,
the support, man.
Yeah.
I really do. But anytime once I can, you're welcome to Australia.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I'll Saturday morning can we fit up out.
We'd love to do a podcast out there, man. That would be sick. So
definitely.
Yeah. Well, thank you again
thank you very much
for fitting us into your schedule. And thank you guys for listening and watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, all that stuff.
Yeah, comment and subscribe. It helps algorithm.
But thank you guys, and we'll see you in the next one.